Hey, Coach, how you doing?
What's going on? I'm good. How y'all?
See you again. Just kind of tell us about the depth of your running back room and how good that is to have Isaiah back for another year. You got Johnny. I mean, how special is it working with so many talented guys?
Oh man, it's great. It makes my job a lot easier. Having these guys, all this spring, they all kind of bring something different to the table. So, it's been a blessing for me this spring to watch them to continue to develop. Watching them last year, they came into the season not a lot of experience, and we had some new guys we added, but getting them all back for a second year this spring has just been refreshing. So it's been a pleasure to coach them all this spring so far.
We've heard from Coach Gus that Isaiah's kind of being treated like a pro this spring, meaning he's not getting tackled, not really doing a whole lot in scrimmages. Right. What have you seen from some of the younger guys in the room? I know you mentioned them, but what have you seen? Have they been able to take advantage of that opportunity?
Yeah, definitely, and that's kind of been the plan. Holding Isaiah back from some of the full contact stuff has allowed the young guys to get more. And Coach has spoken a lot about Johnny. You watch his development and things that he's able to do now that last year this time, we probably wouldn't have put him in certain positions. So that's definitely helped him. Mark is kind of coming on even more. You watched him last year about mid-season, even won some games for us and stepped up big. But the young guys, I've been pleased with Trillion Coles, who's a veteran himself, but Anthony Williams, Jordan McDonald, him getting Jordan here early. And then, those older guys taking some reps off, it's allowed Jordan to accelerate, where he would be right now, So I've been very pleased with that, man. So I'm excited to watch him continue to build. This next week is going to be fun, though, because I told him out there when we finished, the spring has been good, but next week got to be our best week. And our guys, they've been answering that bell, every week. And when I've challenged them, they've answered it. So I'm looking forward.
So you're about 10 or so practices strong. You mentioned next week being a big deal. So you're definitely comfortable at this point in practice, right?
Oh.
So with last year, the saying would kind of be next man up was your mantra because of all the injuries and stuff. But now that that's less of a factor,
right. What's
kind of your message and mantra going into this spring game?
We challenge ourselves as a group every single day. It starts in our meeting room. I told our guys, like, we're going to watch how guys compete, not only on the field, but compete with your preparation. And it started back when our guys got back in January. The strength and conditioning staff had, those guys raved to me about how the guys were working. I was out on the road recruiting, not able to be here, but they raved about how they had worked all January. And it's bled over right into spring ball. I'm seeing it myself. And what we tell ourselves is we root for each other. We compete with each other every single day as hard as we can. But we want the group to do well. What we talk about is no drop off. No matter who's in the game, no matter who's getting an opportunity or when they're getting an opportunity, we feel comfortable, as a group that guy is going to be out there ready to succeed. So, me as a coach, when you got guys that are kind of, they're answering that bell and they're listening to the things, and I'm hearing my older guys now talk to my young, and they're using the same language that I use. And that's what makes it refreshing for a coach because it's sticking to them. So, I've been very pleased, but it's no drop off. That's our mantra in the room.
Gus and Chip have talked a lot about Johnny and just how much he's taken another step this spring. Obviously, had a great year last year. Where have you seen improvement from him? They talked about just his all-around game, understanding protections in that element too.
Yeah, absolutely. Protections is probably a biggest thing for him because, as you guys saw, like, if you're watching us play, Johnny, he was very effective with the ball in his hands. So what my challenge was to him after last season when I met with him was playing without the ball. So that's in pass pro, being able to operate the offense, and being able to do more than just carry the football. So, and when you're able to do that, you become more of a dangerous player. Defenses, you start watching them, okay, when 25's in here, now 0. When 0's in the game, he's getting the ball. Now, that's not the case because Johnny can do more. So, he's answered that challenge, and every day he comes to me for some reinforcement. My biggest thing with Johnny is more so like how he's taking coaching. And that's been what I've been most impressed with because, him being a young player last year and me being new, him not knowing me, sometimes when I coach, and I coach hard, he didn't respond always the right way. Now you're seeing him, he wants that. He wants to be coached that way. And I think that alone has helped him to continue to get better.
You mentioned Jordan McDonald. What was it like recruiting him and how important of a piece was he for your recruiting class, for the recruiting class?
Oh, it's super important. Recruiting them was fun. You have some kids that you recruit and they understand how to handle their business, and you got that from Jordan from the start. The very first time that I met him, he came on campus and we're talking, and he didn't talk a lot, so I was wondering, like, does he not like us at all? But what he's doing, he watches everything. He was observant. He's listening a lot, and when he does speak, he elaborates a lot on what he wants to talk about. So that part right there, it took some getting used to early because I didn't really know what to think. Like, man, does he really like us? But as we started to build our relationship, he started to open up more. And, Jordan is probably the goodest young man that I've ever, had the pleasure of recruiting. Had a great family. They were honest with us throughout the process, and that's what I loved about him. And I think that's going to help a kid like that when he gets to college. He's mature enough here to be able to excel on a day-to-day basis.
With all the talent in the running back room, how much are you experimenting with 2 running back sets this spring?
We're doing a little bit. We're doing a little bit of that. We're just getting into it. I think first part of spring, you always want to make sure your base stuff is in. But we understand as a staff that we have a backfield that of guys that got different skill sets that we can put more of them on the field together. And so we're experimenting with that, and I think it'll be something that'll be good for our guys too. They get excited about it when we talk about it. You can tell they want to be on the field together. So that's been really good for us, and I think it'll be good for us down the road.
So from where I know you're on offense typically, but the natural opponent, so to speak, would be the linebacker core.
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective, with all the young guys they got and all that, how do you think they're progressing in battling with your guys in practice?
Oh, they're getting better. You have a veteran over there like Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste. You watch him in practice, and he's leading by example with that group. But for us, we go against those guys just about every day in a hookups period, whether it's route running or pass pro. And what I've told my guys, they've challenged us, and you see them get better every single day. So same thing with them this week. We're gonna try to push from our standpoint, push our game up, and I'm sure Coach T will have those linebackers doing the same thing.
We saw Isaiah obviously early in the year, and then he obviously was banged up in the middle part.
Yeah.
But then in the Florida game, we saw him after a month off and how he looked then. So how valuable is it to have a running back like him?
It's very valuable. As you can see, when he was on the field for us last year, we were a different offense. You're able to run the ball downhill. His running style fits exactly what we want to do as an offense. So having him there and having him healthy and at his best, our offense is ultimately at its best then too. So, with Isaiah, what we're doing with him this spring is going to help him, I think, in the long run, just of keeping his body fresh. And then Isaiah does a good job off the field away from us too, and what he does to help his body. He does a lot of yoga, and a lot of guys, we have to bring that here for him, and Coach is doing that. But he was doing that stuff even before Coach started because he understands how important it is for him this year to be healthy. So, I'm really excited about how he's progressed this spring. Because even when you talk about not having a guy in contact, you kind of lose sight of, are they getting better? But you watching him doing certain things now so much, but he's so much more comfortable with the system. He can coach guys. He's working on detailed things for himself. So I've been very pleased with his development, and I think he'll have a big year.
R.J. Harvey, he coming back to the one running back group. How has he progressed?
RJ's done a great job this spring. He's been non-contact all spring because we're being safe with him. But having him back out there, flying around, running around, RJ's fast, man. We tested this all season, and he was still in his knee brace, and he was probably our fastest running back in the room. So that shows you his ability that he brings. And then, when we look at where he was before the injury last year, we can not do nothing but be excited about getting him back. So, but he's progressed well this spring and everything that we've had him do.
What about Mark Anthony Richards and his development? I know you kind of talked about a running back who won a couple games. He was really big in that ECU win. How has he been this spring?
Mark has been great. Mark got better every single day. He's actually probably had his best week yet this week, and he had been progressing to that point. So I've been very pleased with Mark. He's one guy, I love coaching Mark. Mark takes coaching very well. Just my building a relationship with him when we first all got here last year. You saw a kid that was coming in with his confidence was kind of broken a little bit from some injuries that he had at his last place, but I watched him every day to develop. And when I coaching him hard, he responds to it. And Mark want to do well, but I watched him this spring, man. I'm really excited about his development. So you guys are gonna be excited when y'all see him get opportunities out there this year.
How was the scrimmage the other day for the running backs?
That was good. We threw the ball more than we did in the first scrimmage, but just watching our guys be able to get into the pass pro stuff and the route running and all that, and identifying things with defensive fronts to make protections calls, making sure their eye discipline is good. That's really what we like to see. I like to see as a running back coach a lot of times too, because that's so important during the course of a season. Them being able to protect and we got to see a lot of that the other day. So being able to challenge those guys again, like I said earlier, playing without the ball in their hands, and that's super important. It gets lost sometimes in our position because everybody only want to look at it when we're running the ball, scoring touchdowns. But them being really good in pass pro, them being really good catching the ball, and then blocking for their teammates too. I like to see the effort stuff. That's what set guys apart.
Coach, how do you like the diversity in your group, and collectively, what do you want to see from whatever guy who takes the handoff for you?
I love the diversity. I think every offense, you want guys that can do things a little bit different because there's some things in the run game scheme-wise that, it don't fit, everything don't fit everyone. So, if I got a guy that needs a scheme that needs a little more patience, I feel comfortable, putting a particular guy in that position. If I have a guy that we want to get the ball on the edge too and he can make play, we got a guy that can do that. So being able to have guys that do different things well, it bodes well for our offense, and it makes it, easier job on us as coaches where we're not trying to force things with a particular guy. As far as one thing that I look for when anyone gets the ball in their hands is being physical. We play a position sometimes that people want to be finesse and we want to get the ball out. No, we want to run the ball downhill. That's Coach Malzahn's mindset. That's my mindset. Get the ball downhill, break tackles. We want guys to break tackles. That's what we want. So when I see guys not afraid to run into the defenders and beat guys going north and south, I love it. That gets me going more than anything else.
And you like what you're seeing in terms of that?
Oh, I love it. I love it. My guys have done a great job of, responding to that. They know what we're looking for, and you watch guys on a day-to-day basis trying to do exactly what we're coaching to do. I know you got Mark coming in here next, but he had some runs in that scrimmage the other day, and that hasn't always been him. You look at some of his runs last year where he's trying to get to the edge and all. No, Mark, you big. Run at people, and he's doing that now. So, it's making his game so much cleaner.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Coach. Enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.